back, they put it right up there next to the camera. Now with most back fingerprint sensors, they're a little lower on the phone for reachability. Just the way you hold the phone makes it easier. Now I think the top fingerprint sensor might look a little bit better in some cases, but it is definitely harder to reach. Even with my larger hands, I legit dislike this location. I hold the phone with my right hand, so I'm reaching the maximum distance up and over across the phone, over across the camera with my finger, and often I don't quite make it, or I touch the camera glass instead, or I only partially cover the fingerprint sensor and the reader doesn't unlock, it doesn't work. So this is through a week of using the phone. I'm sure I could get used to it eventually, but for most people this just makes it a two-handed phone, and then you can end up just using the phone with two hands all the time. Now to be fair, the glass over the camera actually does a good job deflecting smudges that come from errant fingerprint unlocks, but honestly a clever way to get past this is with a case, or better yet, a skin actually. So this is the skin from dbrand, and not only is it better for gripping this all glass phone, but the tiny depth difference actually lets you better distinguish the fingerprint sensor from the camera on the back. So fun fact, highly recommended. Either way, Samsung's word on this is now they provide you with a bunch of other ways to unlock your phone biometrically that don't use a fingerprint sensor, mainly being the iris scanner and the face unlock. Now I didn't expect to like this answer, mainly because the face unlock can literally be tricked with a picture of you, so that's no good. And the iris scanner usually requires you holding it up at a weird angle that you don't normally hold your phone, which is a little awkward. But this iris scanner, I think it might have a wider angle lens, or the sensor is improved. Something about it is better because I don't quite have to hold it up at that awkward angle anymore, and it does a pretty good job of unlocking my phone when I'm not like trying to. I set it up, I didn't expect to use it, but a lot of times I just hold the phone up and start using it and it would unlock for me. So that actually turned out to be a pleasant surprise. Either way, aside from the awkward tallness of the phone and the fingerprint sensor, the Galaxy S8 is the best industrial design of any smartphone in a long time in my opinion. Even though there are other phones out now and coming soon that do the tall display, thin bezels thing, you still gotta add on all metal and glass, still has expandable storage through a micro SD card slot, still fully water and dust resistant, IP68 certified, so you can spill water on it and it's cool. It still has USB Type-C with quick charge, still has wireless charging, still keeps the headphone jack, and the speaker is below average and downward facing. It might be the worst part of the phone's build, but that comes with the territory when there's no room on the front and you kind of want to water seal your phone. So back to the screen. It's incredible. It is, I would say, the best display on any smartphone. Again, it gets extremely bright, so it's visible outdoors or whenever, and it's an OLED, so of course it has fantastic color and contrast ratios and dynamic range, and it's super high resolution too. We're talking 2960 by 1440 on both phones actually. So all that makes for an awesome media experience, a great web browsing experience, and great scrolling through Twitter and Instagram and seeing a lot of stuff at once experience, and all of Samsung's software obviously supports it perfectly. Now, not every app in the App Store fills the display right now, right out the box. Like a lot of games especially will have to be updated or may just never fully support that, so you'll either have the black bars on either side or you can punch in. And of course, most videos also aren't in this aspect ratio either. So when watching a video, you'll get the black bars as well, unless you hit the button in the software to punch in a little bit, but then you lose some of the frames. So it's kind of your call. It's give a little, take a little for the slightly taller display. But overall, I'll take it. I think the screen is awesome, and with its curved edges and curved corners, I'm a fan. And then there is the inside of the phone. And since this is a flagship, Samsung is again pushing things to the highest end of what's available, except for one particular area. But there's some pretty high-end specs in here. Snapdragon 835, Adreno 540 GPU, 4 gigabytes of RAM, at least 64 gigs of storage, which like we said is expandable. And this is the first phone to ship with Bluetooth 5.0, which I made an entire separate video about that just dropped. Highly recommend that. So the performance aspect is pretty much taken care of the same way it always is. Great specs, great speed and animations out the box, but nobody has used this phone for a year or two yet, so we'll have to see how the Samsung software